Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of The Crowded Booth. Happy Wednesday to you. Way to lock it in. Way to subscribe. Way to like. Keep those numbers continuing to climb. We appreciate you for tuning in on a Wednesday night or wherever and whenever you're watching tonight's show. Will Manis is joining me as we dive into Week 11. We react to the college ball playoff rankings. Are there some gripes to be had? Are they legitimate or not? That and more on tonight's episode, The Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.
Welcome in, welcome in. My name is Bryce Koon alongside Will Manis on a fine Wednesday evening. Will, throughout the Southeast, we have braved the bitter cold. It was a little chilly first 2 days, and now we I don't know about you. I stepped outside I went to lunch today, and it was about 81 degrees.
I don't think it got above 70 in Columbus today. I think the high was 67 or 68.
I like it. I like it. That's good, though. I think it is let me hit this button real quick. I think the weather is in that time where I don't think we're quite in. I think we're out of fake fall. But I do think that
was our first taste of winter.
Yeah, that was that was like that initial appetizer, by the way. Also, wanted to throw this out there. Will, I tried a new food today. Crab rangoons. I'm being serious. Have you ever had a crab rangoon?
No, I haven't.
Just no. Just no. You don't indulge yourself into the Asian culture.
Oh, I do. I frequent Panda Express.
I thought you were about to say Sarku, so I didn't know where we were going there. But
yeah,
crab rangoons.
It's all the same.
It's, well, I don't know. Zach says they're fire. They are so good. A little heavy on the cream cheese today. You're not a cream cheese guy, though, right?
Not really.
Do you like cheesecake?
I do like cheesecake.
Total subject change. I'm kind of in this. Yes, Joey, Panda is a great establishment. I'm kind of in this phase on my reels where
I think it's best if we don't get into that. Bryce's reels, those should not be discussed.
Those are in a filing cabinet somewhere in the Pentagon. No seriousness, where I'm into these, like, this guy has a podcast who was in prison and now he's interviewing like people who've been released and they talk about everything. And I learned today how they make cheesecake in prison. So
I don't think I want to know.
Well, Nico says big cheesecake fans here in the booth. Indeed they are. Indeed they are. Will, let's just kick off tonight's show with getting off schedule. All right, because we're good at that. I want to talk about Heisman rankings because it seems to be a hot topic on the Twitter sphere right now. Gavin, could you go ahead and get that graphic loaded in here, and we will discuss every single week. Myself, Will, Ralph, Gavin, and Cullen, our unnamed, unseen person who just
he's named.
Works in the sweatshop of the Crowded Booth. We all piled our top 5 Heisman rankings. And today, I guess around an hour or two ago, we released these. And here they are. Well, your ballot reads as read it for the people, I guess.
Yeah, I've got Marcel Reed at number 1, Ty Simpson number 2, Fernando Mendoza 3, Julian Saying 4, and Gunnar Stockton at 5.
So this is the ballot you would submit to New York as of today.
Yes, it is with my Heisman vote because I
With
should
your
have
Heisman
one.
vote. You do have one. I like that. Mine is Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sayin, Marcel Reed, Ty Simpson, and Gunnar Stockton. So we have the same 5. It's just a different order. I will say this, Will. I think if Mendoza was wearing an Ohio State helmet, he'd be number 1 easily.
Without a doubt.
I mean, I think it's a logo thing on the helmet for him.
It's a logo thing on the helmet for almost everybody.
Yes.
Let's be honest. I mean, the Heisman Trophy is a popularity contest. It's normally the quarterback on the best team, with or without some character issues, because we've seen that in the past. But I mean, I've been high on Marcel Reed and Texas A&M all year. I love what Colin Klein has been able to do with him. I think he's really taken that step forward this season that we had kind of talked about last year. You know, maybe holding him back, maybe his pocket presence and his accuracy from within the pocket. And, you know, he's really evolved and progressed as a passer. I think he's a big reason why Texas A&M's offense is so good and why they are they're number 3 this week. Number 3 in the playoff rankings. The quarterback's most important position on the field, and that's why almost all of us have the same people in the top 5.
Well, there's a name that is not on this list that has a lot on the it is what it is. And I will say this, the Heisman is supposed to be the most valuable player to his team. I think I will say last year disproved that. Ashton Jeanty would have won the award, in my opinion. If he was the most valuable player, because we've seen Ashton Jeanty was a large reason, maybe the biggest reason they made the playoffs last year.
And I mean, you can talk about that historically, but I mean, a lot of times it is a quarterback award, right? And it's the best quarterback on the best team. You can say quarterback's most valuable position on the field. This is the best team, whatever. I mean, outside of a couple exceptions of the last 25 years, like Travis Hunter last year. And what he did was amazing. Playing both sides of the ball at such a high level, but it's a popularity contest. I mean, that's why all anybody talks about is quarterbacks.
Let's just talk about it. Why is Haynes King not on this list? Now, his stats are impressive with what he's done. Obviously, the performance he had obviously individually. And I talked about this today. I don't know what the committee. Well, I don't know if you saw the quote where the committee literally said that Georgia Tech got dominated by NC State's defense. That actually just factually was not true. I literally said that.
NC State's offense dominated Tech.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think a lot of Tech fans have conceded that. Haynes King by himself was over 500 yards of offense. I mean, he was unbelievable. And I would say he's number 6 for me. We've had him in our rankings. He is very much there.
Yeah.
That's why I have Gunnar Stockton, because I think this is what I think comes down to. One, friends over at FanDuel have him at what I told y'all plus 10,000, correct?
Something insane.
Yeah, it's like plus 10,000, which puts him about 9th or 10th in the ranking system, I guess I would say. So the reason Haynes King isn't on here for me is because if I'm going to treat myself like an actual voter, and we'll talk about the popularity contest and what people look at, people are looking at for that big win, that Heisman moment. Haynes King has not had that in terms of the Heisman moment. Now, Tech fans are going to go back and say, well, the Clemson game, and yeah, he played great, led them down the field to be able to go win the football game, the Colorado game, but he had 3 fumbles in that game, or 3 turnovers or whatever. It's just one of those things where I fully, and I don't think you agree with me here, he will be in the top 6, in the top 7 of the voting at the end of the year for me. And I think even in reality, he will be up there. I don't know if he makes it to New York. It obviously depends on what your team does, because that is a large part of this that people want to say, well, you hate him, you whatever, all this kind of stuff. I don't. Look, it's just that people are mad that Gunnar Stockton's on there. Gunnar Stockton has a win on the road at Tennessee, right? Played really well against Ole Miss. And it has he has the big game opportunities where
Gunnar
Georgia Tech has
Stockton-
not had those.
And we want to talk about numbers. Gunnar Stockton has 200 more passing yards than Haynes King. Arch Manning has more passing yards than Haynes King, and all we've done is talk about how bad Arch Manning has been.
Yeah.
So, like, I know Haynes King runs more than he should, in my opinion. We're just making everybody angry tonight. But we know what people do. They cherry pick.
Yeah. Now, Haynes did not play a game against an FCS opponent. That is something to keep in mind here. Yeah, and look, Trip, like all those are deserving, but so is King. That's the reason there's only 5 on there, and they're big. I mean, like, here's the thing, too. They're big brands outside of Indiana, but Indiana's been so dominant over the past 2 years now that he's going to deserve that opportunity. Also, all of these teams are ranked in the top 10. Like, the team success aspect for me is one of those things. And look, I think too, like if Haynes King and Georgia Tech beat Gunnar Stockton, he'll be in it. Haynes King puts up a really good performance and outduels Pitt next weekend, he'll have a chance to be on it. It's just one of those things where, like, the idea that it's crazy that we don't have him on the top 5 list, well, Vegas is telling you don't have him on the top 5 list. So it might be personal opinion, but the people who, and they make a killing each year on people and betting odds, they don't have him there right now. It's not that I don't think he can end up there. I think he's a really good player. I think there's some awesome, I've liked Dante Moore a lot this year. He was on some of my early lists. Like, I think there's really, really good players. It depends. It depends that, in terms of what your team does and who they've played. And he just has not had the opportunity for that marquee matchup yet.
All 5 of these quarterbacks we have on here. Oh, this is going to make people mad.
Oh, God.
All 5 of these quarterbacks on here are better quarterbacks than Haynes King. But then you're saying it's a quarterback award. And it's
it is a quarterback award. We know that, right?
Is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a popularity contest. Like, obviously, Genty should have won the award. Like, I think we all kind of sit there and say, like, it was crazy. It's a popularity contest. And so who's the most popular player on the most popular team? And I'll say this too. Like, I think Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sayin legitimately have claims to win it. Like, they're not just making it because of their jersey. Fernando Mendoza would be talked about more if he wasn't on Indiana and if he was on any of those other 4 teams that we have on there. If he had the Ohio State helmet, A&M, Alabama, or Georgia helmet, he would be talked about one of those. Is that fair to say?
Agree.
Like,
Yeah,
clear cut, maybe even clear cut, like front runner for the Heisman. So it's one of those things where I don't know necessarily.
Man.
I don't know what Jackson Arnold has to do with it. I mean, we're not even. No one's even. Will said repeatedly he's not even good. So
that tells you how far behind some folks are. I mean, Jackson Arnold hasn't played in 3 weeks.
So, anyways, it is interesting to me. We'll see.
Wow, that's some takes. Some takes are going off. Do we need to pull receipts from fall camp?
The switch up is crazy, my friend.
I've heard. I remember being told Georgia Tech had like the best receiver room in the ACC in fall camp.
I don't even. Yeah, it's just. It's interesting. It is.
God, and then people trying to troll me about Auburn. It's funny.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's okay. You get to look forward to a head coaching search. So,
hey,
new blood.
We'll say it. Thanks for the view. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Make sure you make sure you subscribe while you're here. All right. So, Will, we talked about that. Let's take a look at the playoff rankings. I'm going to pull up a picture of what we've got there. I talked a little bit about this morning in terms of I guess the best way to put it is like the Georgia Tech side of things and what we were looking at. But I wanted to get your take on this because it really comes down to the fact that the highest ranked ACC team is now 15th. Now, there's a lot of things to look at this and get frustrated about. Miami jumps Georgia Tech. I guess let's just start there. Like, I don't have a problem. I don't think there's any other discussion to be had other than the fact that Notre Dame is pretty high. They're showing that they value the brand and the not even a logo. They don't even have one on the side of their helmet, just the gold helmet. And they're telling you that they value Notre Dame, so that follows with Miami jumping and having that win. I talked about this morning for 30 minutes. Is it as clear cut as that to you? Because people are saying they don't understand. I think it's as clear as that. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just telling you that's the thought process behind what they're saying is Miami's win, and compared to Georgia Tech, Miami's win over Notre Dame holds more weight than having 2 losses compared to Georgia Tech's 1 loss.
I think so. And I think there's some eye test here too. And analytics. Looking at my favorite website, cfpgraphs.com, I put Georgia Tech and Miami on a neutral field. Miami has a 64% win probability, projected to score over 30 points. Georgia Tech projected to score only 22 points. Mm-hmm. So metrics back it up. There's some eye test. Now we saw, and I said it during that fourth quarter of the SMU game, if you let Miami mess things up, they're going to, and they did. And Miami showed again how bad they can be at times. I mean, that fourth quarter was really bad for Miami to let SMU back in the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I think as efficient as Georgia Tech is, I honestly believe no matter what the numbers say, who they're playing, where they're playing, Georgia Tech will be in every game because of their efficiency, the way they operate on offense. They can move the ball. They know what they're doing. It's hard for me to think that even those numbers I read out that Miami would beat Georgia Tech by 8 points on a neutral field.
Yeah. By the way, Nico, you just captured the essence of Will. Personally, this is fun to chat about, but not worth getting up in arms over. You win the games, you deserve it. You don't. What have you said all year, Will? Like, it's one of those things where you win the games, you don't have to worry about it. Looking at this ranking, Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, I was curious. I do want to talk about A&M in a little bit, but what's your positioning here for? And we've tried to talk about this so much, and honestly, we probably need to just do a Tuesday live show after the rankings come out to really dive into this. But what they're setting up for, in my opinion, is you're setting up for Miami to be for the ACC champ. If it is Duke, we'll play the hypothetical, which is crazy.
That's chaos, and
Duke will not make the playoff, but Miami could still get in as an at-large bid. Now, a lot of it doesn't matter. A lot of it is just conjecture. But I think that's what they're setting up to keep them on the outside looking in. You've got them there sitting at 15. And let's be real. You have Georgia Tech. Let's say Georgia Tech drops a game to Pitt, but beats Georgia. They're hanging on by a thread because both of those teams would have marquee wins. Just one of them. I think Miami would get the benefit of the doubt over it. If it was 10-2, I think Miami gets the benefit of the doubt over Georgia Tech.
I think so,
for 2 reasons. The losses are better. And you've got the win over Pitt, and Georgia Tech would not have the win over Pitt if you canceled out the Notre Dame and the Georgia wins. So I guess outside of that conversation, we see Virginia drop a little bit, Louisville, Pitt work their way up. We'll talk about that Pitt Notre Dame game here a little bit. I want to talk about A&M. Did you hear Lane Kiffin's comments?
Yeah, he said they should be number 1.
I thought that was interesting because it does set up for some interesting jockeying back and forth, in my opinion, with what happens between like let's just say everything holds between like A&M, Bama, and Georgia. Because one of those teams, like Georgia and A&M, will not play each other unless they play in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So how do you compare those if they're both 1-loss teams?
Right.
They would both have one over Texas. It's just interesting in that, I guess, that regard.
He's also already lobbying and trying to position Ole Miss to get an at-large bid because we know what everybody's going to say. How do you let all these SEC teams in there? He knows Ole Miss is on the outside looking in. They still control their own destiny, but he also knows they don't hold that same brand value that Texas and Oklahoma do. And if Texas beats Texas A&M, I think Texas is going to get that at-large spot. I mean, it'd be what, 4th or maybe 3rd SEC team. I think Texas would get an at-large bid if they went out beating Texas A&M. And that probably means Ole Miss is getting left at home. which would be crazy and really unfortunate because I think Ole Miss is really good, and I think they.
You think Ole Miss would get
are one of
left
the
out as a
12 best
2-loss team? Because they have to drop one, right? They got Florida and Mississippi State left.
Yeah, I don't know. How crazy would that be?
I don't think Ole Miss is getting dropped out as a one-loss team.
10-2 Texas got the at-large bid over 11-1 Ole Miss. How crazy would that be?
Holy cow! Yeah, it is.
It's also recency bias.
Yeah,
like they're gonna say, well, they just beat Texas A&M, and then like if Texas A&M goes and beats, say it's Georgia, in the SEC championship game, say, well, Texas beat the best team in the SEC. They're the only team Texas A&M lost to.
Yeah.
It's all politics.
I think
recency bias, logo on the helmet. That's all it is.
Well, and let's I guess talk about this because it is important to really dive into it. And I talked about it this morning. Like, of course, if you're Georgia Tech, if you're one of these ACC teams, just win and you're in, right? SMU wins and they're in. They don't have to worry about their 3 losses. Tech does the same thing. They don't have to worry about that 1 loss to NC State. Every single year, though, Will, we get to this point of the season, we start talking about several different things. You hear these phrases. You hear quality loss, quality win, strength of record, strength of schedule. Now, I said earlier in the show today, I said, if you believe truthfully that the entire system is rigged against you, then fundamentally we can't have conversation because I don't subscribe to that thought pattern or that conspiracy theory. That's just me. I don't think you can get the coaches in on it. I don't think you can get the coaches poll honestly might be one of the best polls because it's something you trust. These are the guys that are coaching and scheming against these guys and having to do those things. And I know, look, Joey's saying right there, bring back the computers.
What have I been texting you all day?
Yeah, but I guess like the human element of this whole thing's crazy. And someone commented earlier, like
set the rankings and then the top 12 is the playoff. That's the
and I'll say this about the Miami jumping ahead. Miami should have been ahead of Georgia Tech last week if you were going to do that. That doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I think everyone could have said, okay, you know what? They could have swallowed the pill easier this week if they were already ahead. But jumping them after not doing anything, and then the guy coming out there and holy cow, sitting there saying that they got dominated by NC State. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're not watching the games. And you and I have said the fact that we don't think they watch the games. Like, I don't believe that they watch the games because I don't understand what you're looking at. So it is, like I said, I don't think the whole thing's rigged. I do think that there is some serious ineptitude by these people in terms of making a decision. If that's a fair thing to say, I guess.
And you also got to wonder, like, it's human elements. So what are these relationships behind the scenes? We talk about how the ACC might be the worst run conference.
Oh, it's the worst run Power 4 conference by
what do these people think about Jim Phillips? Like, is it personal? Because, and the last thing I want to say about this and the ACC in the playoff rankings, I think they're setting this up to leave the ACC out completely based off where these teams are. Like, I think they're basically saying Miami, it's either Miami or Georgia Tech or nothing. And Miami needs help to win the ACC. And if Georgia Tech doesn't win it, nobody's going to be there from the ACC.
Okay.
Which is a crazy thing to think about.
Well, I said this too. I don't believe that all things are created equal. I don't believe the fact that we have equal conferences, equal schedules, or anything like that. It is, honest to God, got even more imbalanced the more teams we have added.
Yes, going away from divisions.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Not everybody plays everybody.
So I think that we sit here Wednesday, November the 12th, and it doesn't make sense. I'll tell you this, do not expand this thing anymore. Please, God, don't. They're going to, but do not do that.
I said it. We said it in a live show a couple of years ago. I remember saying it's like, don't expand it to 12 because now we're going to be arguing for the 13th, 14th, and 15th best team, who are not good enough to win the national championship every single year. You can go back 100 years. The number 13 team is never good enough to even have a chance at being the national champion. It's dumb. We just moved the goalpost from arguing 5, 6, and 7, who all have a legitimate argument, to 13, 14, 15, who almost every year don't. Last year, I think, is an exception. I don't think it's going to be the rule. Like, I think Alabama, even as hot as South Carolina was to end the year, Ole Miss, I think, was good enough to even compete in the playoff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's here's the problem. And I've seen some comments about this. What do you want to base this on? I think that would be the thing I would ask people who complain about it. Like, outside of the BCS numbers, which I don't think that you would get what you want when you put the BCS numbers out there and the analytics out there. So,
account that does that, let me find it.
I don't know. In fact, I'm just guessing that. But I think what we're sitting here trying to talk about and say is, when you have the human element in there, it's going to skew things, obviously. But it also brings about these, I guess it's the same thing, these personal opinions and biases that you can't bake out of this thing. Like, it's just baked in. It's never going to matter. Will, you've got the BCS thing right here, so let's throw it up. So you've got this.
So this is simulated BCS, the same formula that the computers used to use, and this would be the top 25.
Georgia Tech, I want to ask 15. This seriously.
Miami would be 17.
I just want to ask this. For the people who have a problem with Vanderbilt and Oklahoma being ahead, you don't like the human element. You're not going to like the numbers. What do you want then? Like what? Like, and I'm not trying to be like rude. Like what is the alternative to this? The only thing I can understand from the rebuttals is, well, it's disrespectful and it needs to be even. It's not even. It never has been even. It never will be an even playing field. So the idea that we're sitting here on an even playing field and we're playing the same type of competition week in and week out, that has never been the case. The BCS used to reflect that, Will. And the irony of this whole thing is the people who complained about being an SEC and Big Ten invitational, we need to go read Webster's dictionary, because the idea of an invitational is what it is now. It's not like we're putting and I'm not trying to knock on but like, let's just be serious here. I mean, the concept of even having a group of 5 team in this thing is stupid.
It's
stupid. And it's not that I don't like it, but it's like, what are we doing that for? Stop masquerading this thing as a true playoff of the best 12. It never has been, and it never will. When you go to 16 teams, it never will be. It just won't be. So I guess I don't know, when you pull stuff up like this compared to the human, what's your third option? Because you still haven't gotten what you wanted.
Yeah. Cincinnati making the 14 playoff show. I mean, and that was honestly, I think in the playoff era, ever since the 14 playoffs started, hands down, head and shoulders, the best group of 5 team that year that they made it and got blown out by Alabama in the first round. And it wasn't even a competition, right? So, I mean, we can't act like the group of 5, their best team, can actually compete for a national championship.
Will, we've had several interviews with group of 5 head coaches, and the one thing I was thinking about today, what have they told us? Like, we talked with Ryan Silverfield this year. We talked with Zach Kitley down at FAU, especially in the American Conference, who's essentially probably going to have the number 1 opportunity to go to the playoff every year, you would believe.
Yep.
They always say when they recruit, said, hey, you got a chance to go to the playoff, which is it is very true every single year. But people want to say, oh, hypothetical wins for the SEC or the Big Ten or anything. Like, man, like Notre Dame at 9. What do you as a fan think that you know more of than the committee, which I agree the committee's bad, and then the numbers? Like, what do you think you know about that other than your personal bias for your team?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I don't get the the hate on Notre Dame. They lost by 3 on the road to Miami, who we've seen is as talented as any team in the country.
And they're good. They're a good football team.
They lose by 1 to Texas A&M in a crazy wild game.
In the final seconds.
Might be honestly, might be the best team in the country. I know Ohio State and Indiana are just beating up everybody, but they're playing the bottom of the Big Ten. Let's be honest. Texas A&M could be the best team in the country. 4 points. They've lost by 4 points in their first 2 games to 2 very talented teams. They beat a ranked USC team by 10. They beat NC State 36-7. I mean, they've blown out everybody for the most part too. They kind of had a stinker against Boston College. They only beat them by 15. But I mean, they're as dominant as Ohio State and Indiana is to their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the strength of schedule rankings. Miami is 21st in the country. You keep going down, and I'm trying to go through, find the next ACC team. Apologies if you're listening to this. You're like, what the heck is going on? Florida State's at 31. Clemson at 38. NC State's actually at 41. SMU 46. Syracuse 49. I mean, obviously we know who I'm looking for here. Georgia Tech's 58.
What is this?
It's your strength of schedule.
Oh, strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm. I guess where I sit with this is
Zach says GT will get ridiculed if we beat BC by only 15. So did Notre Dame. So did Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If they beat them by 20, Notre Dame's probably number 7 in the country.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think someone asked, where is Notre Dame's big win this year? USC.
Their biggest one's USC, yeah.
Yeah, like
who was number
they
20
beat USC by 10. They beat NC State 36-7. They beat Boise State 28-7. They went on the road to Arkansas, who is not good, but they beat them 56-13. Like, that's the difference. After they did what they did, they embarrassed teams. See, that's where I think, in the frustration for Georgia Tech fans and all of this is, why can't we be higher? And I said this today, you haven't embarrassed anybody. You've beaten one team like absolutely never in doubt. You got a chance to do that again this weekend. But that's the issue. I mean, let's be real. We were all very skeptical of Indiana last year, correct? But they were beating the brakes off of teams. This year, they're doing the same thing. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where I don't know how. I guess the play for action is like, I don't really know what you would. I don't know what should be different. I guess that's what I'm saying. Should Miami have already jumped Georgia Tech last week? Yeah, they should have. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense that they 1 week later are better.
I'm with you. All right, let's talk about our friends. They do a fantastic job over at Cajun Cousins. We'll see you in a second. What's up, everybody? My name is Bryce Koon, and I cover college football here on the Crowded Booth and also over with On3, covering all things LSU. I'm here to tell you about a presenting sponsor this year for us as we get ready to continue tailgate season. It's our friends over at Cajun Cousins Company, based in South Carolina, but serving the entire Southeast with a little bit of that Louisiana flavor. Now, listen, they've got great products. They've got some great merch, including this awesome hat for you LSU fans that I'm rocking right now. But today I want to tell you about something that's going to maybe spice up that tailgate or that event a little bit more. It's Cajun Cousins pepper sauce. Make sure you try it out. Whether it needs to go on the po' boy, whether it needs to go on the fish, or even in some of that jambalaya, make sure you let them know the Crowded Booth sent you and head over to CajunCousinsCO.com and get what you need today. Whether it's a family event, whether it's a part of that tailgate here in football season, Cajun Cousins Company is the way to go. All right, shout out Cajun Cousins, obviously making the trip to Dallas happen. We appreciate everything they've done for us all season long. Absolutely love what they do, and it is it's interesting. Nico says this. First, they talk about domination on both sides, and Miami jumps them. It doesn't make so much sense. No, I agree with you. 100. That does not make any sense. That's the only people I would actually have an issue should have an issue, in my opinion, is Tech fans in terms of Miami. Like that is the only. I don't understand how that. It should have happened already, I would say. It
looks like they're already finding reasons to snub. Yeah, they're That's why, like I say, I mean, they're almost setting it up to leave the ACC out.
Oh yeah, I think so. Zach says the way y'all talked up Duke, that was a good win. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good win. Didn't they win? Lost to UConn.
Yeah,
Like, I think Duke's a quality team. Duke's not a better team than either of Notre Dame's losses. That's just the issue, man. Georgia Tech's resume suffers from not having a great win. That's the only problem. But guess what, guys? Guess what? In 3 weeks, you got a chance to have one really good win, I think, against Pitt. Because regardless of what Notre Dame does to Pitt this weekend, I think Pitt's a good football team. You have a chance to win that game. You got a chance to go beat Georgia and get a great win. So you're right, it doesn't matter. But that's the acting like, oh God, we don't understand, and it's disrespectful, and we should be mad. It's like, well, for what reason? Do you even understand the reason outside of being a fan why you're upset?
Yeah.
So,
look, it's going to fall on deaf ears, but we've said it, at least I've said it more than one time. Tech is a good football team.
Yeah.
But their schedule has not helped them. Like, they have beating number 12 Clemson at the time in week 3. That was a good win, right? The way you beat Colorado on the road, that's a good win.
Yeah.
But look at what these teams have done since then. Wake is probably the best win, and we thought that was.
We don't even talk about Wake.
Disaster.
Yeah,
and Wake has been awesome since then. Syracuse has been really bad, right? It's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that their resume is not getting the legs it should have.
Yeah, I mean, I think someone said earlier that the rest of the schedule didn't help them. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't, and that's ultimately what it is. Here's the thing. The last part I'll say on it, and we'll go to talk about the 2 games we're going to preview. If your schedule isn't going to help, you're going to be weak. You are going to have to not just, Dr. Bob, win your games. You have to win them convincingly. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. Georgia Tech has to blow the doors off of Boston College. They have to do it. And they should, because they're a way better football team than them. So that's to me where it is. All right, let's talk about the games. We got 2 on the docket, and then we'll get to each one game apiece that we're kind of watching out for, and then those best bets. And I got to find the email, Dr. Bob. I didn't, for some reason, send it to thecrowdedbooth@gmail.com for that. Also, Google Docs was down today. First up, Texas, 5.5 point. I don't know why we put it like that. 5.5 point dog against Georgia on the road. Will, this is a game that I'll tell you one, just be honest with you, man. I'm pumped that LSU has an 11:45 a.m. kickoff local time because I get to get home. We're going to put on some chili, grill some hot dogs, put up Christmas decorations. No, it's not too early. And we are going to watch this game, as my wife obviously being a UGA grad. Man, this game is this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Texas has to win it. You are playing for your life. We already talked about this a little bit. You're playing for your life. Here's step 1. I think this is going to be a great football game, by the way. Now, I think it's way too early to say that Texas is back. Vanderbilt is a good football team. I don't think that they are a great football team. I think they have some deficiencies. You have talked about that over the past couple of weeks when we've mentioned Vanderbilt in terms of these previews. The worry for me in this thing is Georgia gets to come back home. They could be clicking now offensively. 9 games and 10 games into the season, Gunnar Stockton is really starting to get into his groove. I think they're using Zachariah Branch very well in this offense. We've seen the tight ends get way more involved. I'm taking Georgia to win this game. What are you
talking up that offense? I mean, I thought they were. I thought I could say something that's probably going to get me in trouble just trying to be funny. But are you saying a Mike Bobo led offense is good?
Look, man, Mike Bobo is their offense is really, really good this year.
Mike Bobo, he's one of the best offensive coordinators in the country.
You know what? I'll take a phrase out of the book from a man that used to stand in front of me and spew things. You're spoiled. That's what I'll. No, in all seriousness, I think that this is one of those things where Georgia's playing some really good football right now. The first half slow play is a concern in this one, but will they get to come back home? They're a 5.5 point favorite on this one. But I'll tell you one thing, man. If you keep the intensity up, it's going to be really interesting. Texas is going to have to don't get canceled for saying this, bombs away. They're going to have to bomb through the vertical passing game. Ryan Wingo does look like that he's going to be coming back for this game for Texas, which is a big, big pickup. The only way Texas wins this game is if they spread things out, get going in the vertical passing game. Even then, does Georgia's defense cinch down to that front seven, make adjustment? I think this is right now one of the best second half adjustment teams in the country in Georgia.
The best. It's the best.
Okay, the Auburn fan, the guy wearing the War Eagle hoodie said it. This is probably the best second half adjustment team in the country. I'm taking Georgia to win this one, and I'm taking the points, -5.5. I think they can win this by a touchdown, maybe even 10 points. I just think Georgia's playing a really good brand of football right now. They're starting to run the ball a little more too.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm taking Georgia to win this game and to cover, but they'll cover it late as they always do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big game. I mean, playing Texas, playing a big brand, Kirby Smart, we know he loves to just find bulletin board material from anywhere. He's going to say that nobody thinks Georgia's going to win this game, even though they're a 5.5 point favorite. You know, he's going to do his whole spiel that he always does. But I really think that this game is important for Georgia. I mean, Georgia feels like they need to win a game like this. They're another team that is their schedule, their resume has kind of let them down. They lost their one big game that should be the feather in their cap, the Alabama game.
Mm-hmm. They beat Ole Miss at home, though. That's a good win.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Other than outside of Ole Miss, Tennessee losing to Oklahoma didn't help them at all. But I think this is a game Georgia feels like they really need. And I think they're going to get it done. They're going to get it to the second half. It's going to be close at halftime, like most Georgia games are. And then I think they're just going to lock it down in the second half. And I agree with you 100% what you said about Texas's offense. They're going to have to do it through the air. That's where you get this Georgia defense. You got to get them through the air. So we'll see. We'll see how Arch Manning can react to the Sunday school environment that he's going to be playing in on Saturday. And if he looks any better with no crowd factor.
You know, I thought something was interesting when you dive into CFP graphs and then just kind of look at the numbers all together against what Texas has done. I think not just to pass on Georgia, but you got to be balanced offensively. Texas has not been a good running football team this year. They have run on the lesser competition. They couldn't really run on Florida. They couldn't really run on a couple of the other SEC teams that they played. They really didn't run great against Kentucky on the road.
They're not physical.
We've talked about the offensive line's been an issue for them
They're not
this year.
physical.
Yeah.
And it's a mentality. They don't have a physical mentality up front.
Both of these teams, this is just one thing, like the one key matchup I'm looking at. Georgia's run defense has been very good.
Mm-hmm.
Texas' run offense has not been good. When you go to CFB graphs, they're 124th in yards before contact, with 1.42 yards before contact. Georgia is 22nd in the country with a 1.39 margin. If that doesn't take play, like if that doesn't flip, it could be a long night for Texas, because then a Georgia pass rush that isn't great can feast on Arch Manning if they can get back there. If Texas can't run the ball, this is going to be a very, very long game for them, I think.
Yep, I agree with you.
So I like that. All right, so we're both taking Georgia and the points?
Yes.
I like it. One thing that Tech fans will like is when on Black Friday they get to wear their Section 103 merch. You can use code TCB10. LSU fans will not be wearing that any time in the point of December, maybe to celebrate their new coach. But you know who will? Georgia Tech, potentially for the ACC title game, and Kennesaw State fans as they make the push for the Conference USA title. Make sure you use code TCB10 for 10% off your order today. It is phenomenal gear. It's the great stuff you want, and it's for a good price. Make sure you check out our friends over there. They do a fantastic job. Nico says he used code TCB10, and he got a great polo. Polos are very comfortable. Will's waiting on the Auburn deal to come through. Patiently. Okay, we're going to the ACC here. Notre Dame is an 11.5 point favorite on the road against Pitt. Look, we spent a lot of time talking about this. I think this is Notre Dame's opportunity, right? You've got the game against USC. You've got that win, I should say. But you're facing a Pitt team, man, that ever since they made the quarterback switch, it has been totally different. Shout out, not a friend of the program, but I do know him, offensive coordinator Cade Bell over there, come by way of Western Carolina. His dad, Kerwin Bell, used to play quarterback for the Florida Gators. High-flying offensive attack, Will. We talked about Pitt a lot last year, started 7-0, went and lost to SMU. Things collapsed from there. But Pitt with this opportunity here to announce themselves on the national stage. They've been kind of quietly outside the top 25. Here's your chance, right? You've got this game against Notre Dame if you're Pitt, and you're playing Miami at the end of the season. If Pitt can be a playoff team, it's got to start here. So before I go into kind of my thoughts on this, I guess what are you feeling with this matchup? Notre Dame got to go on the road to Pitt. Should be a really fun environment, by the way.
I'm wondering if Pitt cares about this game. Pat Narduzzi made it seem like that they don't care because this is not an ACC game and their sights are on the ACC championship, which it should be, right? But you don't make that public unless you're trying to get a reaction out of your team, which he maybe he was. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see. I think Notre Dame, their physicality, especially. I mean, they are a completely different brand, a completely different program under Marcus Freeman than they were in years past.
Yeah,
I think they're more physical. That shows. They're great on the lines of scrimmage. They run it well. They're 43rd in the country in yards before contact, averaging over 2 yards before contact. Oh, never. Yeah, sorry, I can't read. Defensively, they're 20th in the country yards before contact, just a little over 1.3 yards before contact. Yards after contact, they're third in the country, just over 2 yards. So they tackle well. I mean, you see that on film. You have to do that against Navy, and they beat them 49-10. I mean, even though it's the option, and they have much better athletes, but the option is the equalizer, and they pass that test with flying colors. I think their physicality is going to present a huge problem for Pitt. I think they're going to really dominate the lines of scrimmage, and I think they're going to win. And I'm going to be bold. They're going to cover that number, that 11.5 points.
I like it. Traditionally, Pitt has actually been a team that is not fun for Notre Dame to play. The last two meetings, though, Notre Dame has won this game 103-10 in the two meetings since 2020. That's what's actually crazy. But you had a 2020-12 season that, remember Everett Golson, that 2012 Brian Kelly team? They Pitt missed a field goal late in the second overtime. Everett Golson runs in the touchdown to stay alive. A lot of good stuff for that with them. So I think that's something that's really, really impressive. In 2018, they had another comeback to win. So it's been a game that's been tricky for Notre Dame at times. Here's my thing. I think C.J. Carr, a lot of people, for whatever reason, they might not have watched a lot of Notre Dame since the first opening two games. Maybe you watched the USC game. C.J. Carr and this passing attack have opened things up a little bit. And you mentioned Marcus Freeman's team being a little bit different. They're not totally finesse. They're not totally just ground and pound physical. I think there's maybe a pretty good balance here with what they can do. And I like their receiving core there as well. I think if you're Pitt here, if you're Pat Narduzzi in this defensive coaching staff and you try to, drop 8, they're going to be able to run the ball on you, right? Like Jeremiah Love, their other running back, J.D. Price has been really good for them this year. That's my worry. It's kind of pick your poison if you're Pitt in this situation. It's tough, man. I'm taking Notre Dame to win this one. That 11.5 makes me nervous, but I'll take Pitt to cover. I'll say like a 10-point win, but just a very narrow cover. But I do like Notre Dame in this one, man. I think that the Irish are playing pretty well, pretty good football right now. Doesn't mean that their losses shouldn't matter, but it means like what are they doing right now? And they're playing pretty well to build up that resume. And look, if you're an ACC fan, you want Pitt to win this game, like 110%, because this would knock Notre Dame out of the playoffs. And well, I guess if that's
like if you're a Tech fan, you want Pitt to win this game because then Tech goes and beats Pitt, and that's a big boost to
top
the
15 win potentially.
Because Pitt will. Who knows
Pitt
what
will
this
shoot up the rankings.
If Pitt beats Notre Dame, they're probably going to jump Notre Dame or jump Georgia Tech in the rankings.
They might jump Georgia Tech and Miami. Like, truthfully.
Yeah.
Because, well, I don't know. That would be Miami's got the win over Notre Dame. So, be interesting to see. Fun stuff, though. Notre Dame and Pitt. That should be an absolute fun game to watch there as well. Before we get into our games to watch, I always want to talk about our friends over at MacArthur Woodworks. We obviously had a great opportunity to partner with them this season. Make sure you check them out. You can use code TCB10. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. Give me a second. They sent not only a great piece for the wife to display in the kitchen, an awesome hat here as well. You got the leather patch, MacArthur Woodworks. I'm a big rope hat guy. It's a great hat. I look like a train conductor in it. It's fantastic. But I absolutely love it. It's a good leather patch hat. Make sure you check them out. Georgia Tech grad, he does fantastic work, and he does real hard work too. And I think it's better than anything you're going to get in the store, especially around Christmas time there as well. So make sure you check them out. Use code TCB10, 10% off your order today. It's functional. It's useful. It's something you're going to want to display all year round, and you're going to want to use it too. It's not something you want to stick in the back corner of the closet, in the pantry as well. You're going to want to use what they've got going on over there. So we appreciate them for supporting the show there too. All right, well, let's round it right here. Games to watch. I'll go first, man. I think that pretty obvious, Bama and Oklahoma for this one. Look, Oklahoma's playing for the playoff life. We talked about this. The team kind of feels like they're out of it. It was just a matter of time. I'll talk more about them in a second, but I watched Alabama last week play, and I know you and I kind of had differing opinions on what they thought Alabama was coming out of the weekend. They struggled against LSU's defense. Can Brent Venables do what he did last year, but can he do it on the road this time? That's going to be a big talking point in this game. And can this offense string together drives? Can they put together first downs in consecutive positive plays? It's really, really important against this Alabama defense to do that. So I'm really excited to watch the Alabama-Oklahoma game. I think it's going to be a fun one. It'll be another notch in the cap for Alabama as they try to head to Atlanta. I want to say Alabama clinches a share of the SEC, an opportunity to go to Atlanta with this win as well, because they'd hold the head-to-head over Georgia, and they don't play A&M. So yes. I do believe that is correct, because this will be Georgia's last SEC game this weekend against Texas. So all things considered, a lot on the line for Alabama. But we'll ask you, is you're playing a team that's desperate. Does Oklahoma have enough, just real quickly before we get to your game, do they have enough in the tank to be able to do this on the road? They sure did it at home last year.
Yeah, but they got a different quarterback.
I knew you were going to say it.
They have a different quarterback. I don't know. Yeah, Kane Womack. How do you say his name?
I don't know what. Yeah,
say it differently. Was asked about that, so he seems fired up to go up against Ben Arbuckle's offense again. I don't know. I think it might be too much for Oklahoma having to go to Alabama.
I hear you. What's your game to watch this weekend? What you got on the what's one that you're gonna be tuned into? Who's Navy playing?
Yeah, well, that was my first one. I'm gonna cheat because you said only one, but I'm going to both in the G5 ranks. South Florida travels to Annapolis, take on the Navy, the Navy midshipmen. That's an elimination game for the playoff. Yep, there it is. Dr. Bob's rooting hard for Navy. You know I'm always rooting hard for Navy, no matter who they're playing. It'll be a fun watch because it's two completely different offensive styles. I mean,
oh yeah.
Even though Navy, they're spread it out, throwing a little bit more with Drew Cronick, but it's nothing like this veer and shoot that South Florida runs, stretching the whole field. The other G5 game, Gavin's going to roll his eyes in the background. Kennesaw State travels to Jacksonville State.
That's a good one, actually.
That's going to be fun. You know, Auburn's looking for a coach. Charles Kelly used to coach at Auburn, used to play at Auburn. His name keeps getting thrown around, and nobody wants to hear it, but, you know, might as well watch.
What channel is that on, by the way? Do you know?
That is on ESPNU. 8 p.m.
There we go.
Kick.
By the way, going back to Navy and USF, Navy and South Florida are currently in a 5-way tie for first place in the loss column in the American Conference. You have North Texas UAB, FAU Tulane, and Memphis at East Carolina. Memphis at East Carolina is a de facto playoff game for the American Conference title. So that would be interesting. Dr. Bob pleads with you. He says, please hire Charles Kelly. He wants to keep him there. It's going to be Summerall, Robert. Is the Mercer-Auburn game this weekend?
Nope, it's next weekend. Auburn needed a bye game to get geared up for the SoCon's finest.
SoCon, back-to-back SoCon champs. Put some respect on that name. Well,
I'm actually nervous about that game.
Well, I want an entire film breakdown on Mercer's offense. I can probably get you the tape.
I'll just part of that tape has got to be you celebrating in the press box when Mercer
you remember that, right? They scored that one touchdown. I went nuts in Jordan Hare. Shout out TJ Finley. Threw 2 picks in that game. And that's when I was like, there's no way this guy needs to be playing. But he still is. That's what's crazy.
And he's benched.
The Bears. All right. Let me pull up our best bets before you put up that graphic up, Gavin. I mean, I just, Mr. Bob, Mr. Dr. Bob, sir, I don't have this. Someone sent me an email about writing a book. I mean, this guy named Simon.
Oh, I was wondering if it was yours and Ralph's favorite author.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Yeah, this guy keeps asking me if I'd like to write a book. I mean, if he's going to pay me, why not? I'll take it up front.
He's trying to get paid.
He's just trying to get paid. Here we go. All right. Well, we haven't looked at this one time this year. I don't know if you're aware.
No, we have not.
I don't even know how to open it. I can't open it. Oh, here we go. Good night almighty. All right, here we go. So, the best bets, before we put up those right there, Simon Cowell, I don't know. Maybe we should just put my emails up on the chart.
Dox yourself.
Just dox myself over there. I mean, why is this so difficult? Okay, I'm going to upload this as a PDF. This is just a lot going on, dude.
We're just getting an IT lesson for the folks listening.
Yeah. I don't know what Gavin knows how to do, to be honest with you. It's processing. All right, here we go. You can't see a dang thing on the screen, so that's what's great. Let's just bring it in here. I mean, you can't even read that. That's awful.
What just happened?
Nobody's on the screen. Just stick with us, please. I promise you, we like to have some type of professionalism here.
There we go. Let's just throw that up there.
Our best bets. Will's taking Arkansas plus 5.5 at LSU. Ralph is driving. And I got Alabama minus 5.5 versus Oklahoma. So we are staying. We're staying with that. Will, what do you talk to me real quick about Arkansas plus 5.5 at LSU? Because I hadn't even talked about the game once because we got legal troubles down here in South Louisiana.
Yeah. It's really just points, and more points. I think Arkansas can score with LSU. I mean, Arkansas has shown outside of one game against a top 3 defense in the SEC, the team that has the Bednarik Award winner at linebacker, the Auburn Tigers. Arkansas can score on anybody, and except Notre Dame, but that was Sam Pitt in Arkansas. Ever since Bobby Petrino has taken back over as the interim head coach, they have pretty much scored on everybody. I think they're going to be able to put up enough points to keep this game close against LSU. They may come out of it with a win and go home with the Golden Boot.
Gold Boot's been in Baton Rouge for quite some time. I mean, this is just the most inefficient way to pull up a document I've ever experienced in my life. Okay, this is
off the top of my head. The last
I
time
got
I
you.
can remember Arkansas beating LSU was Darren McFadden. I'm
Felix
sure they
Jones
beat
and
him at least one time since then because Arkansas's had some pretty good teams, but
probably. We didn't even use these poor graphics that Gavin put up. I didn't even see them.
Fire.
Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, Gavin. Okay, so here we go. This is what we've got on paper. This is bad. 1, 2, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6, 4-7, 5-7. That doesn't make any. Yeah, 5. I'm 5-7.
I'm 5-7 too, and Ralph is 6-6.
Ooh, baby, who is going to Waffle House? We're both 5-7. Ralph is 6-6. That, my friends, is brutal. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. Stuff all over the place, but we like it. College football, week 12, going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you tune in. We'll be talking on the airwaves this weekend about the games. So make sure you do just that. Georgia Tech, Boston College, talking about why Georgia Tech needs to go and dominate about that one tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will catch you next time. He's Will Mannis. My name is Bryce Koon. Gavin Hart in the background. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. All right. Bye.
Pile coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Koon.